I really started going off the rails, I think at around 12, 13, 14, and then I think when I got expelled from like my second school and moved away from the area I was living at the time, my addictions just grew way worse around then. And like my drug habits kicked in at a young age, innit? Do you know what I mean? My addictions were bad. Do you know what I'm saying? I started using proper hardened Class A's, and I smoked a lot of crack, sniffing a lot. Do you know what I mean? Doing what the olders were doing, and yeah, I was bad at it, man. So yeah, my addictions were messy, and it got me caught up in a big mess, man. Do you know what I'm saying? I bought into the lie, man, that my escapism through drugs would be something that would help my life, but it made me a captive and a slave to it for years, man. And then some madness happened. My imagination started to get filled with ideas of how to take my own life, because I thought, yo, I just want to do myself, man. I cut my wrist, it didn't work. I overdosed, it didn't work. I bought something to take my own life with in this device, and I thought this will work this time. Just as I was about to go into my house to do it, literally the events were nuts. My mate just pulled up and tried to take me for a ride in his car. Literally as I'm going to my house, maybe jump in his car. I was in the right place at the right time, and I didn't know. And I remember someone pulling up to the car and banging the window and telling me, yo, you know, don't worry about this situation, they fixed it and all this. And I was mind blown, because I was like, I wasn't supposed to be in this area. I wasn't supposed to get in my friend's car, and I suddenly turn up in some random place and some guy tells me how all my situation's fixed. I don't owe the dough anymore and this and that. And he gave me a little bit of hope, but more than that, it was weird, because when I asked the guy, oh, what are you doing here? He said, I don't know, we're just driving down the road. I seen you sat in the car. Like, it wasn't a coincidence. So I was convinced then that God had answered my prayer in it. For the first time, right, ever in my life, from all them things in church and all them, you know, I was like, wow, you know what, God's really real. Like, he's really real. And there must be a purpose for my life. I was convinced of purpose in such a way, man, it was nuts. And I was convinced that, like, he loved me, and I was convinced that, like, I prayed and it helped. I had pure questions, yeah, with no answers to them, but what I did know was that I was alive because I prayed and God had saved me. That's it. And I just got this check on my heart and thought, yo, what if I'm not really forgiven of my sins, even though God's moved on my life? And you know, I don't want to live this life. I hate addiction. I hate this. I hate doing what I'm doing. I want to step into my Creator's given purpose, because right, he's smarter than me. And this is just causing pure pain. And I remember praying in my heart saying, God, you know something? I'm a mess, and I've done all this bad stuff, and you have boxed me off and helped me so many times, and I keep failing. But now I'm saying, like, I am ready to give you everything. I realised I didn't understand who God was, because I used to think that God couldn't love me if I was a mess, or I would have to come to God clean and perfect, you know, and all this type of stuff. But all I had to do was put my faith in him and surrender. This is the thing. For all these encounters I've had with God, I have not had a perfect run. I make mistakes. And the difference is I'm devastated about those mistakes now. Whether back before Jesus, it was a standard. But nowadays I'm trying to show man this God that's real, this Jesus that is God in the flesh, which is died on a cross, rose again. And these are my passions.